You're going to hear a lot of questions, I think, this morning about prioritization and the fact that a budget that comes out is effectively a prioritization of what is important. And in this FY18 budget request, you do fund the clean water and drinking water state revolving funds equal to what we did in FY17 in the omnibus. Many other programs, again, as I have cited and as the ranking member and the ranking member of the full committee have cited, have been chosen to be axed or reduced dramatically. I want to give you just a moment here to explain the prioritization, why you would have prioritized, for instance, these funds in this particular category, in the clean water and the drinking water, and how that fits with the overall philosophy of where you're trying to take the EPA right now. Because you've mentioned clean air, clean water. The three of us have mentioned clean air, clean water, and yet you've got some real discrepancies in what we see outlined within the budget proposal. So if you can address that.
Well, I think some of it depends upon the area of our office. I mean, when I think through, for instance, land contamination, the Superfund programs that we've made reference to this morning already, Senator Leahy mentioned this task force that I've established, and that report is being provided to me by the end of this month, and would be very, very happy to share that with you, Madam Chair, and other members of the committee. Senator Leahy, to address your comment earlier, it's not really an effort to engage in quick or very expeditious only response. It's to make decisions. What I've noticed is that we have sites across the country. I've mentioned Westlake, but there are others. It's not isolated. Westlake just out of St. Louis, where it's taken 27 years for the agency just to make a decision on whether to excavate or to cap the uranium there at the St. Louis facility. That's unacceptable. That's not a matter of being quick. That's a matter of just simply a decision languishing over years and no urgency at the agency to address that. The citizens in that community deserve better. And you have those kinds of sites across the country. The Port of Portland, the Hanover site, there are many, East Chicago, which I've visited as well. So I think, Madam Chair, with respect to air attainment and air quality under the NAAQS program, I mentioned the fact that we've achieved a 65% reduction in those NAAQS criteria pollutants since 1980. That's something that's very good, but we have much work to do because there's 40% of the country still living in non-attainment with respect to ozone, about 120 million. So working with counties, working with local jurisdictions on compliance and assistance, and engaged in enforcement is very, very important. Getting monitored data and having that be real-time available to us as opposed to model data at times is something that we need to focus upon. There's a backlog of state implementation plans at the agency. Over 700 state implementation plans have been submitted to the agency and not responded to by the EPA. That's unacceptable because that doesn't provide clarity and focus to the states on how to engage in enforcement and activity through compliance and assistance at the local level. So there's much work through management and leadership, Madam Chair, that I think will go a long ways toward improving outcomes in air, land, and water issues. Obviously, money matters, and I will let you know and advise you that as we get into the Superfund program, the cuts that are proposed under this budget, that we have orphan sites in that portfolio of over 1,300, and if there's not enough money in the budget to address those, I will advise you. But I think in many instances, it's just a matter of lack of decision-making, management, and leadership with respect to core priorities of the agency.